I know some of you guys are probably wondering, so where is your property now? You know, the DS Learning Finance property, the one you bought as a company with your brothers? Boy, have I got something to tell you guys.
You know what you're watching. DS Learning Finance. Whoa.
As you guys can tell, I am in a good mood. And it's because I'm finally receiving some dividends from the property I rented out. Well, technically, I started receiving the dividends 2 months ago, in November. So officially, this is like the second dividend that I'm receiving thus far. But hey, I'm getting paid. So every month I get paid a dividend into my bank account, and this comes from the rent that my tenants are currently paying. So yes, majority of the money that they paid in terms of rent goes to paying off the mortgage for the company, but there remains the profits after split between me and my other directors. Basically my brothers who bought the house with me. So you guys know what I'm doing with the money, right? Shopping, and more shopping, right? No, that's not what I'm doing with the money. Instead, what I'm actually doing is taking that money and reinvesting it. And this is what it really means to be a long-term investor. Trust me, I could quite easily spend some of that money buying shoes, buying clothes, buying a phone. You name it, I could spend it easily. But all I'll be doing is, while that dividend is increasing my income, I'll also be increasing my expenditure. So really, I'm not actually increasing my financial wealth. This isn't the wisest choice to make as an investor. Instead, by keeping your dividends, what you're actually doing is, yes, you're increasing your income, but you're actually maintaining that lower level of expenditure. So that gap is your financial wealth. And one step further, by reinvesting my dividends wisely, key part wisely, what I'm actually doing is increasing my income in the long term whilst maintaining that lower level of expenditure as well. So that gap is even bigger now. So right now, I use the money that I get from the dividends, add some extra money of my income to it, and then I put that back into the stock market. Right now, this board basically represents my investment portfolio. So what I put my money in. By taking the dividends of my property and putting it into my stock and share investments, what I'm doing is taking that and putting it there. But it just doesn't stop there, guys. It continues. You might use some of your dividends later on to save up and buy another property. And eventually you keep going like that. And it just keeps on going and increasing. But it just doesn't stop there as well. You take it one step further. When the stocks and shares that you've done have proven to be a success, and maybe you want to cash out in the long term, because we're long-term investing, what you might want to do is take some of that money, put it back into another stock and share, or maybe take some of that money and put it into another property, and it keeps going like that. Until eventually, as you can see, I'm running out of space on the board. So then, all you're really doing in this scenario, which is what a long-term investor builds their whole portfolio on, is compound interesting. This is the power of compound interesting. It's crazy, guys. As you get more and more of your investments, putting that money that you get from it into other investments, it creates a snowball effect. And basically, your investments just keep on increasing and increasing, and eventually it comes to a stage where you're not reliant on other people, you're not reliant on your workplace, you're not reliant on your parents. You are self-sustaining because your investments are making you money without you having to think. And this is what my goal is, basically, and what your goal should be as a long-term investor. And it just doesn't stop there as well. Don't just limit yourself down, guys. Maybe you might want to start a business. Maybe you can add a business there. For me, I've got YouTube as well. So there's another form of revenue that I'm expecting to come from YouTube. And for me, I want to do other stuff. So I want to own a restaurant as well. I want to buy more properties. There's so many avenues for me to take and so many places for me to put my profits and my money back into investments and opportunities to further increase my wealth. This should be your goal. Einstein, arguably the cleverest person to ever have existed, and he called this the eighth wonder of the world, compound interest, just because of the power to start from something so small, but given enough time, given enough interest, will grow into such a large thing later on at such an immense rate. Now granted, this ain't gonna happen overnight, guys. It takes a lot of time and consistency for this to happen. And patience. Lord knows we need patience. Yeah. But this is eventually where I'm going to be. And where you should aim to be as a long-term investor as well. My question for you guys is, so what are you going to do with the income you're getting or the profits you're getting from maybe your work, maybe you're doing something on the side, maybe you're selling stuff on eBay. What are you doing with that money? How are you getting that money to work for you guys? Hit me up in the comments box below with just how you're doing that. So long story cut short, this is the way to become financially free. That is my objective. It's not to actually be wealthy. It's not to be stinking rich. It's literally to be financially free. To be able to know that I'm self-sustainable without having to rely on other things that may go one day and may be there another day. I want to be able to stand on my own 2 feet. And this is a good way to do it. So by me taking my dividends and putting it back into my shares, I'm actually starting off this diagram. So given enough time, given enough patience and consistency of doing this, I will eventually acquire this financial freedom, which is what everyone wants to do basically. I'm going to do a video later on this year about compound interest, and I'm going to actually use graphs. Yep, graphs, because I think you won't really see the proper advantage of compound interest until you actually see the numbers, the figures that it comes out of it, and also how it projects on a graph. It's the clearest way to see it, and you'll see just why this is so important when it comes to long-term investments. So I'm going to do a video on that. I haven't decided when, but make sure to keep an eye out for it, because it's definitely coming out. You guys know me, I'm Mr. Consistency. Keep your eyes peeled for that. And also I've done a reading list in the short description box below about books in the stock market that I've read and I personally like, and can offer you a lot of investment knowledge and can even teach you some new skills as well. And maybe if you've been in the stock market for quite a while and you look to freshen some things up, then that's also a perfect opportunity to read some of those books down there. So make sure you guys check it out. Cool. It's your favorite YouTuber, guys, Dami Solari. I talk about stock market investments, financial management and property investments like this 1, 2. Before you guys can go about doing whatever you're going to do for the rest of the day, say it with me: like, subscribe and share, people. DS Learning Finance. Whoa. Bye guys.
Whoa.
Ah!